Nothing great in this world has been accomplished without passion. And if there's something you want to do and you're passionate for it, then just do it. Stop talking about it. एक्वेरियम एंड फिश कीपिंग का हॉबी हमें खुशियां देती है, हमें जिज्ञासु बनाती है, एंड इसके लिए जानकारी सिर्फ 3 मिनट में मयूर देव क्लिप्स में आप देख सकोगे। तो देखो, टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू मीट अ वेरी पैशनेट पर्सन, मिस्टर बीटा महातवराज, हु इज पैशनेट अबाउट इंडियन नेटिव फिश. When it comes to doing things, he's done it. He's that person you can say has been there and done it. And at this point, I'm going to just shut up and let him do the talking. Okay? Come on, let's go and meet Beta Mahatavraj. So firstly, of course, this video is going to be in English because it's convenient for Beta and me to converse in English. And yes, we are here today, we're meeting Beta Mahatavraj. In my opinion, probably India's most experienced or learned person or hobbyist in relation to Indian native fish. If there is an Indian native fish, Beta knows about it. Yeah?
Almost.
And now, this is Beta, Greek beta, not beta or beta. And if you're all confused or curious, yes, he has an elder brother called Alpha also. Now, if you're born to a scientist, you get names called Alpha, Beta. That's how it works. Correct? So, firstly, Beta, thank you so much for joining us in this little episode where I get to ask you a lot of questions on Indian native fish. Of course, I call you and ask you a lot, but this is of course on video. And there's enough people who want to know a lot about Indian native fish. Beta, before we start off this video, there is something that's going on in my mind. And I particularly want to do this seriously, where one is I want to use hashtag Save Indian Fish as a common thing. I want to basically make this as an eye-opener for the departments, for the government, saying that, there is a beautiful ecosystem that we are not considering in our systems, Why? Because see, whenever I go for these tiger reserves and all of these places, there are beautiful streams. And if you ask the naturalist or ask anybody, what kind of fish do you have? Because you can't get down and go and see. They say, we don't know, sir. Now, I think that's a very sad thing, especially for people like us who love fish. So there's something that I'm trying to work out, and probably we'll explain that in the link once we've come up with it. It's some kind of a cause that you may have to sign up for, and we will take that forward and publish it to the government and see what can be done. Until then, use the hashtag Save Indian Fish. Okay, you'll use it too.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's continue our conversation. Beta, why aquariums or why fish keeping?
I think it started quite a long time back. So I spent my childhood in Kerala, and we were in Ernakulam, or right now it's called Kochi, right, for some time. And we actually used to have a stream that was running, within our compound.
Oh,
to
nice.
say, right? And one of the activities that I loved to do at that time was, after coming back to school, me and the neighbors' kids, we all used to go into the stream and catch fishes. And I think that's what it sparked off, because I started observing fishes right then. But then we moved around a lot after that because my dad was getting transferred. So only after I got back to Chennai in 1987, I know for all the Gen Zers, it's quite a long time back.
Yeah, you're only 24.
Yeah.
I'm 23 actually.
Yeah, that's the secret between us. So anyway, we came back to Chennai in 87, and that's when I started, I would say after a very short break, probably 2 or 3 years, I started keeping fishes. So one of my uncles, my dad's younger brothers, actually gifted me my first proper aquarium. Till then, I used to have them in cement tanks and so on. And kind of started there, and it kept growing quite at an alarming pace, especially for my parents, because by the time I was in 10th standard, I probably had around 20 tanks all around the house, right? That point, I used to keep cichlids and so on. But as years went by, my interest sustained, right? And that's when I put up a fish room for myself that's outside the house, where I could enjoy my hobby in peace without being judged, right?
See, I think all of us have gone through this journey of starting very little and at a very young age and then moving forward. Right. And I think you and me have been lucky because our families have been supportive in this respect. See, for me, my mama was very influential because of pets and fish keeping and all of that. I wanted to keep birds, but I was told, no, birds are noisy, so keep fish. And they didn't realize that by the time I was, again, 12th, or I think there were 25 tanks all around the house. So anyway, so that aside, what does fish keeping actually mean to you? Because see, you're an IT professional, okay, but you still come back to aquariums and aquarium keeping. Of course, we'll show you Peter's fish room through this video. What does it mean to you?
I would say at this stage of the last 15 years or so, it's no longer a hobby for me. I would say it's a passion, because typically, say you keep a pet, for example, right? You want to interact with it, you want to feel the love back from it. For me, it's not like that. For me, it's more like something that I'm passionate about, and I want to study and I want to observe, rather than wanting my fishes to interact with me, right?
See, I talk a lot about observation in most of my videos, and I tell people that if you look at your fish, there's a lot you can learn. And I'm not just saying learn about the fish. I'm saying just generally, in a spiritual sense, in a psychological sense, in a scientific sense, there's so much that one can learn from this hobby, right? What can you add to that?
Yeah, I would say that you get a very deep appreciation of nature, first of all, right? Especially if initially I was keeping aquariums, I was keeping fishes, but only when I went into the actual habitats where, some of the fishes we keep live, that's when you truly appreciate, nature. It teaches you a lot of things, especially coexistence, because your hobby might be fish, right? But when you go to look at a fish habitat, you see plants, you see insects, you see amphibians, you see reptiles, you see birds, you see
that whole circle of life kind of a situation, no? So or a symbiotic relationship, and stuff like that.
It's like a small universe by itself, right? Even a small stream is a universe by itself. So I think it really humbles you and you get a better appreciation for nature.
Very true. Why this passion for Indian natives?
I think I've gone through the typical phases, right? And I think I started really young, because I had, the fishes like discus, I had ultimangels, and I had all the, South American, the West African cichlids and all that. I think the first few fishes that I kept was what they call orange chromite. So they actually, they are an Indian cichlid, and they show amazing parental care, right? Similar to most other cichlids. I think it started with that, because, suddenly I realized this fish is from India, right? And somehow it doesn't get that appreciation, or, we don't have that awareness that you have such a beautiful fish, right within city limits. Because back then I remember, even within the city limits, you could find this fish. And that's when I started exploring, going into, the ponds, nearby ponds and so on, exploring what fishes are there. And I realized that we have
you just don't go into the ponds. Your whole family, you take them to the ponds and streams and stuff like that. I see that in your channel and videos. By the way, there is a beautiful channel called Meen Karan. Meen Karan is a Tamil word. It means Aquaman.
Fisherman.
Yeah, that's what Aquaman is more Gen Z. So Meen Karan, the link is there in my description, and the link is here as well. You can go and see a lot of Indian species of fish on the channel, and I believe that your channel needs more views. I mean, it deserves it because of the immense amount of quality videos you have on Indian fish. Why do you think that Indian fish don't get the appreciation they deserve? Because I personally believe, like the cardinal tetra or something like that, in this kind of a tank, we could have like the Sayadrensis or the Maharaja Bad, a few of them, and it will look far more stunning than cardinal tetras. Why is it that Indian fish don't get the recognition?
I think one is obviously that you need some patience for them to bloom as such, right? It's not something that you just catch from the wild, put it in your tank, and immediately you can see it in all its glory. You need to put some work into it, give it, especially because it's a wild caught fish, it needs its time to settle down and kind of adapt to captive conditions. Then it will show it, right? So I think that's one part where typically Indian native fishes, sometimes it's displayed in a fish store in a bear.
I believe ये जानकारी आपके लिए फायदेमंद था. ऐसे बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे वीडियोस हैं हमारे इस चैनल में. So देखो, जानकारी लो, जिज्ञासा अपना पूरी करो, and of course aquarium and fish keeping hobby का पूरा मजा लो. Thank you. Namaste, Khudafiz, Shaba Khair, and Sat Sri Akal. Bye bye.